This is Kenny Erike with KE Consulting on what may eventually be the Better Business, Stronger Relationships podcast. Today I'm going to be exploring a topic that explores honesty and the value of that to yourself and others. As always, if you like anything you hear, please subscribe and hit that like button as well. And this is a subject I covered for Inspire magazine a while ago. And after a recent discussion with someone I had, I figured I'd come up with an audio version of this. So I'll narrate some of what I wrote in that article. You can always look at the original article, which will be in the link, which can fill in some more details about what I talk about here. And the title of the piece was Lies and the Lying Liars Who Tell Them. That was a nod to comedian Al Franken's book. I'd never read it, but I thought the title was hilarious and it was fitting for what I was talking about in the article. So I just went with that title. And we tell ourselves all sorts of lies on a regular basis. Self-deception about how likely we are to hit the gym after New Year's, pretending that we're going to be really interested in what someone is telling us when we're talking to them. Lies about how close we are to actually meeting someone when we might be 50 minutes away. We'll tell them we're actually 10 minutes away. And the value of a carefully manufactured answer has always been imprinted in us since childhood. If you're an introvert or just hate conflict, a white lie, as some people refer to, is the go-to response for dodging commitments you want no part of. A good semi-truth, like I'm busy, gets you out of a social engagement without the hassle of any follow-up questions. I know that myself. Sometimes I use it, and it's usually true. Nobody's judging you and giving you a hard time because you didn't want to waste your Saturday somewhere that bores you to tears. And unfortunately, lies can often be good social grease for getting something done in an area that's a little murky. Not the best thing, but people use it all the time. One way to really elevate your business and strengthen your relationships and attract the kind of people who like you for you is to get really comfortable with being honest, not just with other people, but with yourself as well. A lot of times, being honest about what you want, what you like, what you don't like, makes it a lot easier for you to get the things you want because you're now actively filtering out stuff that you don't want, as well as making it clear to people around you what you need and what you value. And people will help you with that. And I got to say here that truth and honesty are not synonymous. A lot of times people will conflate the two, especially when we want to tell our truth and it doesn't jive with the facts. When you see the word honesty and hear the word honesty and what I'm talking about, I'm referring to the thoughts and actions that best align with your value system without consideration of what's socially fashionable or fear of what others might think. And a lot of times we have trouble differentiating the two. There have been some good thought experiments played out in the real world in this nothing but truth arena as well. I remember, might have been 10, 12 years ago, journalist A.J. Jacobs with GQ magazine had this article where he explored an idea called radical honesty, where you tell no lies and you're always telling the truth about exactly what's on your mind. It's actually a really interesting piece. I think you can search for it on the internet and you can find it. It's a great read. He detailed the struggle of maintaining his commitments to this radical honesty thing without imploding his social and professional life. And it's a really good read. You don't have to go to that extreme. Not everything you share in your head or you think about has to be shared with other people, but it's something you can think about. The value of just being able to tell people what's really on your mind and what you think. Something to consider more of because so many of us are so comfortable with watering down what we think in order to get along, go along. And in a world where we're being repeatedly lied to, setting your own standards for conduct can be a refreshing change to a lot of people. And the real value of honesty is the purity of action it begets. You're not weighed down by expectations around you. You're fueled by integrity that manifests what's inside your head into the words and moves that register an impact. An open mind is very fertile ground for breakthroughs, much more than one that's bent on inflating an ego or just avoiding hurting other people's feelings. And a mind unburdened by pretense is an extremely valuable ally because you're able to move with certain purity of action that a lot of people lack. Your favorite entertainers, their lives are testaments to the value of honesty, not in the strictest sense of truth telling, but in the focused and unrepentant devotion required to get where they are today. You set your mind on something, you decide you're going to do it, you're not going to let outside forces distract you and deter you from getting there. Sometimes that might entail turning down requests on their time from friends and family, ignoring conventional wisdom about what to do in certain situations, and just voicing an opinion that's aligned with their personal brand, even at the risk of public shaming. Honesty and controversy sell, and we shouldn't forget that. The timid live vicariously through those who are bold enough to embrace pure honesty. Even if others don't agree with much of what you share, they can appreciate the courage it took to share it. They see you as someone that's willing to absorb a few shots to land some of your own, instead of retreating to a neutral corner anytime conflict is imminent. And a lot of people, because they're so afraid of what other people might say or think about something that's really important to them, they don't really give them a real shot. They don't give themselves a real shot of getting what they want to get. That boldness of action is rare, and a lot of people appreciate seeing it in others. That's what Donald Trump used to ride to that unlikely 2016 victory, because he would say what's on his mind. A lot of people appreciate it, even if it wasn't becoming of someone you want in that office. People respected the fact that he was willing to say and do the things that were on his mind. And when we lie to friends and family to make them feel better in the moment, or having to avoid difficult discussions, we set them up for trouble in the future. You give a person false hope, and that can lead to real pain because they haven't been prepared for what might be coming for them. Think about when American Idol was really popular. Simon Cowell, although he was already well known in the musical industry, he gained a lot of notoriety because he's willing to tell uncomfortable truths to people. And especially during the early episodes of the seasons that would come on TV, where they have an initial auditions, you have all these people who lack the self-awareness and knowledge of, all right, I really can't sing or I really can't dance. But they don't know this because the people around them never told them, because they didn't want to hurt their feelings or they wanted to inspire their dreams, which is fair. It just helps to be honest with people. And there are whole cottage industries that have been created because we respect people who are willing to be honest and forthcoming with information that's not necessarily politically correct or even socially fashionable, but we respect the purity of action that comes from it. That's how a lot of people get famous and well renowned. And really, what you tolerate is what you encourage. We don't need to set low standards for the people we care about and ourselves. And it helps to be a real friend and help them hit the targets they can achieve and be proud of just by being honest with ourselves and others. And it's a rarity. And if you're a parent, this is something to think about because you want to support your kids and you want to steer them in directions that are going to help their future. You just want to make sure that you're not shielding them from truth as well. You don't have to let them go out and get hurt, but if you notice that your child has a particular proclivity for something or he's not particularly strong in an area, there's nothing mean or cruel about saying, hey, let's work on this. Something to help them improve their weaknesses, not just because you're worried about hurting their feelings or you want to prop up their self-esteem, telling them what you think they might want to hear, or just being nice, which ironically is often a very mean thing to do to people, being nice when you can tell them the truth that's actually going to help them. That's something to think about for parents. And that's really helpful for a lot of people anyway. And when you're known for being honest, it keeps people around you because that's something refreshing, that's rare. Being honest with yourself is key as well because that can help you really achieve certain goals. And how would I word it? it really helps you put your time to good use, because we all have the same 24 hours, but we don't have an unlimited amount of time. And when you're honest about the things you want and things you want to achieve, it is very helpful for propelling you towards all your goals. So that's some of my audio commentary on the article. Hopefully you enjoyed that. As always, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Feel free to reach out to me if there's something you're struggling with, and we can talk about it. And take care.